Hey everybody, this is Gokai Spartan. If you're watching this video, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I just got finished watching Bartholomew Kuma from One Piece's background story. I'm pretty sure you can tell by the voice that I have right now that I just went through an emotional journey. Yeah, there's still tears left in my eyes after the shit that I just saw, son. Bro, Kuma, hands down, has one of the most saddest background stories I have ever seen a fictional character ever have, bro. This shit was sad, bro. Bro, he was born into the Buccaneers, bro. His pops was some big Aki nigga, bro. And he had like a little blonde wife for him and stuff like that. And they just didn't want to be found by the Celestial Dragons. I fucking hate the Celestial Dragons, bro. I usually like villains, but these niggas, fuck these guys. Fuck the Celestial Dragons. I hate these niggas, bro. With all my fucking heart, bro. Saturn, all of them. The Admirals, not so much. They're pretty cool, but the Celestial Dragons can eat a fucking dick. And, bro, these niggas, they basically made it so Kuma's moms had to go into slavery, bro. And his pops they all had to go into slavery. They were all in the same cell together. His father got beat up, and he used to see Kuma's mom and Kuma there holding their dad and stuff like that, and then the mom dies off screen. And then this part broke my heart, bro. The dad was telling his son about Nika, the sun god, a being of liberation, one that could bring freedom to this terrible world. And he was dancing. He was dancing. When in the middle of him doing that stupid little dance, they popped him, and he fell to the floor. It was graphic, bro. I was like, damn. So then after that, Kuma was just a slave for a minute, and then he broke out one day. And then one day, like, they sick the other slaves to go get him, but Ivankov, my boy Ivankov, came in and saved him, and he basically made it so the other slaves wanted to get out of there because, bro, on God Valley, that island, they were killing people for sport. Them niggas was straight Ramsey Bolton and the Celestial Dragons make Ramsey Bolton look tame. Bro, they was killing these people for sport. Like it was a point system or some shit like that. And Garland, I believe he shanks his brother or something. He was cleaving through these fucking... You can tell he's the only Celestial Dragon with main character energy. Look at him. Look at the rest of these Celestial Dragons and look at Garland. And you tell me. But he was cleaving through all these fucking people, innocent people. I'm like, yo, you bugging. This nigga was wildin', bro. Shit was crazy. And they figured the best way for them to get out of there is they gotta get one or two devil fruits, the dragon devil fruit and the pawpaw fruit. They went to get the dragon devil fruit, but Charlotte Lindland, my bitch, Charlotte. Sorry, big mom fan over here, guys. I love Big Mom. We love Big Mom here over the Gokai Spartan channel. But yeah, son, bro, Charlotte Lindland grabbed the fruit up, so he couldn't get the dragon fruit. She eventually gives that to Kaido, and ultimately he gets the pawpaw fruit, and he gets out of that situation. But now that he saved his village and whatnot, because he becomes like a pastor, he was taking out people's pain. He was healing people. But every night he would take in that pain, because if he didn't take in that pain, it would go right back to them. And he would be bleeding, and he would just be after suffering and stuff like that. And the shorty that he was with, because when he met Ivankov, there was some pink-haired chick with him. Or was it the other way around? Was she in captivity? Like, I just watched it. But the point is, he met this chick and they grew up, and she ended up liking him and stuff. She was a baddie, bro. All the people in town wanted that, bro. Everybody wanted that. But she only had eyes for Bartholomew. Bartholomew ended up meeting Draken and Ivankov again, and all of them become a part of the Revolutionary Army. They all become a part of the Revolutionary Army. And what ends up happening is one day she get caught lacking, bro. And I don't know what happened. Did they give her some type of weird crystallized grayscale STD or something like that? By the time Kuma got there, she was a corpse. And it sucked, bro, because they were talking about getting married and all that. All these tender moments that make you want to tear up. And what makes matters worse is she got a baby now. So now Kuma, being the realest nigga ever, he looked at that baby and was like, oh my goodness, look at this beautiful baby. And he just decided to take care of Jewelry Bunny. And then he became that baby's father. Essentially, he basically raised this child, but she had grayscale. I forgot what the disease was called, but she essentially had that grayscale disease just like her mom's. And she was going to die by the age of 10. Unless Vegapunk did... Nah, it wasn't even Vegapunk. It was some blue-haired shorty. They was curing her and stuff like that. But St. Saturn gave Bartholomew Kuma ultimatum. St. Saturn said, hey, yo, this is what's going to happen. You're going to become a warlord of the sea. You're going to become a part of the Pacifista program. And on top of that, you're going to remove all sentience of yourself. We want complete control over you. If you do this, we'll allow your daughter to live and we'll heal her. And they do all that eventually, but like they was lying to Jewelry Bunny because before Kuma left, he told Joey Bonnie, like, hey, yo, I'm gonna send you a letter all the time. I'm always gonna write for you. But the blue-haired shorty, bro, Alpha was her name. Yeah, her name was Alpha. Alpha was bugging, bro. Every time they got mail, she would just give them the newspaper. She'd take back whatever letter that Kuma gave them. And I'm looking at her like, bro, she was just being petty and stuff like that. And they wanted to keep her for extra longer for whatever other nefarious thing. I just stopped at the episode where Kuma just got transformed into a robot because I started crying, bro. That shit made me tear up a little bit, bro. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. The way Vegapunk was crying when he pulled the switch, son, I was like, nah, bro. And it's just sad. Like, his story is sad. And Joey Bonnie was looking for her. I love the fact, because I ain't gonna lie, I hated Alpha, bro. I hated the fact that she was hiding the letters from Joey Bonnie. Like, bro, like, all she had in the world was her father, bro. And then you're not even gonna let her get that, bro. I'm so glad Joey Bonnie. Her powers are weird. I guess she can channel the powers of Nika, but she's like a shapeshifter that can change her age. But the point is, she turned into like a female. Like she used her fists like Luffy and decked her. And I was so happy because I wanted to see her get her comeuppance, bro. I'm all okay with massive destruction. I'm fine with that. But slavery and lying to people, that's where I draw the line. But yeah, bro, like that shit just made me a little bit sad. I'm gonna keep on watching One Piece because, like I said, I sometimes evidently take a break because, like, I do need to take a mental health break because I be doing this a lot. My Power Rangers, Ultimate Universe, Power Rangers, Shadow Great Reader, just my various fan projects. I do them often. And at some point, I'm going to touch One Piece in there. In the latest episode, it was a brief scene where Mavis was injured and she was talking to Virgo and Kyber, and One Piece was mentioning it. There's brief sprinkles of One Piece in the story, but I don't really necessarily want to divulge into the One Piece story like that because I do and I don't. Because I don't want to solve all their problems. That story, the rest of the stories that Rogexio kind of did all that for was already concluded stories. One Piece is still ongoing. So I'm gonna have to develop her or the story in such a way where the One Piece world could just be its own thing, untethered by the flawless military. Even though Terranort does have jurisdiction in that world, it was set in episode 1. But I'm gonna find a way to properly incorporate One Piece in here because I love One Piece. It's just that I'm gonna be honest, I'm new here, guys. I just got onto One Piece during COVID. When COVID happened, it was the perfect time for me to watch One Piece. So I finally got onto One Piece, and it was great. Like, it was great. I like the first couple of arcs. It started off kind of slow. Like, I feel like the East Blue, everything there was just more contained. It felt a little bit more, because we barely had to deal with devil fruits back then. Now everybody has devil fruits. This is all types of hockey and all types of the CP9 powers and all shit like that. But yeah, like, I remember, I guess this could be also an overview for my experience during One Piece. So I'll briefly go over my experience for One Piece since I've already started talking about Bartholomew Kuma and all of that. So basically, I love the first arc of One Piece with Arlong. It was dope. After a while, it was pretty good up until we got to Skypiea. It started to drag a little bit. I ain't gonna hold you, I fell asleep a couple of times during the Skypiea arc. I was watching it and shit, but I did fall asleep a couple of times. I probably missed like 2-3 episodes where they were fighting some of the minions. But once they got to Nolan the Liar and his storyline back in the day with him and the Skypieans and stuff, that's when the Skypiea picked up for me. I love Nolan the Liar's tale, bro. I really do. And after that, it was, I believe it was Water 7. Yeah, it was Water 7 in Emmy's lobby. Sniper King, shoot down that flag. This is my new weapon. A massive slingshot by the name of Kato. Behold, its awesome powers! I was watching it in the English dub, so I remember that verbatim exactly how he said it. But nah, son. Bro, see, that arc is when I feel like One Piece truly became One Piece, bro. But it was always One Piece, but I feel like that's when the stakes started to get high. Because the stakes just escalated from there on. After that, it was Moria. That was a pretty good arc for what it was. I like that. We introduced Brook and stuff like that. Introduced Bartholomew Kuma and things like that. And then the Sabaody Archipelago, one of the best arcs of all time, because Luffy decked the Celestial Dragon. I hate the Celestial Dragons because they don't got no drip. How you evil with no drip? Bro, evil is only forgivable if you have drip. If you have no drip, take away from me. Evil ass niggas looking like Buzz Lightyear with little swirly heads. They got dicks on their heads. Fuck these guys. I fucking hate the Celestial Dragons. I hate them. Can't stand these guys from a hole in the fucking wall. And I was so happy when my boy Monkey D. Himothy Big Dick Luffy put his hands on freaking that Celestial Dragon. Bro, over here talking about I'm going to sell your mermaid friend on the auction. Over my dead body, gum nigga punch, nigga, hold this, boom. But that only freaking made Kizaru pull up. And I like Kizaru, bro. And Kizaru was in the episodes with Kuma and stuff. He was in the flashback where they were all dancing. He went to Sitsubaru. He was like, yo, come on, let's dance with us. And I wonder how that's going to play out because I'm into One Piece, but I like to get into it sparingly and stuff like that. The fact that I haven't watched it in so long and now I have so much to just binge, that's good for me, because right now I'm on AK Island. I don't know exactly necessarily when this is going to end. All I know is that Kizaru ends up crying at some point. And at some point we're going to have to deal with Albath, we're going to deal with Loki, and Dan Devekin, and not Dan Devekin. Fucking, the nigga that's on, the nigga with the giant for a wife. Yeah, that. We're going to have to deal with all that. So once I get up to that, then I'll figure out what's going on there. I believe right now in One Piece they just revealed Zebek and stuff like that, and I think they just revealed, like, I think he's Black Man's father and stuff. Because even though I don't necessarily read the manga, I have Facebook, I have social media, and people, there's spoilers everywhere, so I still know things. But let's get back to my experience with One Piece, because I'm just gonna, I really just want to make this video like a 20-minute video just to keep it something short. But yeah, so now we get to, after that, after Bartholomew wiped out his entire crew, which made me cry. I cried several times. I'll tell you all the times I cried during this One Piece. I cried when we lost to Mary. I cried when Robin's father died. I mean, that nigga ended up still being alive apparently, but I didn't know that shit back then. That shit really, like, and Robin was just in the boat by herself, like, niggas wiped out her whole village and shit like that. You know, One Piece background stories be, you know, One Piece characters be having the worst background stories ever. Fucking Robin, whole village got smoked. Law was with a sickness and he had to get the op fruit in order to get better. Sanji had Tywin Lannister for a father. Like, nah, son. These niggas be having the worst background stories, son. But yeah, so after that, Luffy goes to Amazon Lily. From what I recall, he went to Amazon Lily, and he's like and he protected Boa, and Boa fell in love with him because of that, because he protected them from seeing that she used to be a slave because of that slave tattoo. And then he heard his brother was in jail, and he broke into jail and broke out of jail with all of his ops and his own mom's Crocodile. That's the theory. They can think that that's his mom. That's not his mom, guys. I'm gonna be honest. Crocodile's not his mother. I don't believe that theory. Maybe he is. I'm gonna be real. I don't necessarily care. If Crocodile is his mother, great. That's awesome. It was built upon. People suspected it. Great. If Crocodile's not his mom, great. That makes sense too. Because why would... Okay, if this is Draken's woman, why would Ivankov turn her into a man? Like, I don't know, man. Like for Crocodile, I feel like it would be to teach him humility. But I feel like Crocodile is a woman. Yes, he was a woman once, but that does not necessarily make him Luffy's mom. Ivankov definitely did use her transgender powers to transform him and stuff like that. But, like I said, I had to make him Luffy's mom. But anyway, he broke out of jail to go get this bum-ass nigga Ace. The reason I called him bum-ass nigga is because we had one job, son. All we needed to do was get from point A to point B. Point A to point B, not listen to nobody. Look, Luffy already did the groundwork. Whitebeard already did the groundwork. We worked so hard to get you. And Akainu only needed to say this to make Ace crash out. Hey, yo! Whitebeard is pussy. And anybody who fuck with that nigga is pussy too. Can't stand you pirates. Y'all niggas is filthy. Y'all stink just like Whitebeard. I hate it here, bro. I hate all of you. I wish a nigga would challenge me. Fuck Whitebeard. He said that shit mad loud, bro. And Ace said, yo, what the fuck did this nigga just say about my biological father who raised me from his bull sack? Even though that's not entirely the case. That's how Ace personally feels about that man. And then Akainu wanted to end Luffy, but Ace got into the way and he became a donut. And Luffy made the most gut-wrenching cry ever and stuff like that. That crying was terrible. That crying made me sad because why your mouth open that big for, man? Like One Piece characters cry, bro. Oh my god, they are. One Piece is the king of ugly crying, son. Like, nah. Then the time skip happens. Go back to Fishman Island and deal with some racism real quick. After that, we're in Punk Hazard. We gotta deal with drugged up children. Then we're in Dressrosa, and this is where things start picking up again. Because now we gotta deal with the heavenly demon Doflamingo and his demon, this evil child from hell, Sugar, that can just transform you. And I'm gonna be real, I spent a lot of time in Dressrosa. Dressrosa and Whole Cake Island are two of my favorite arcs, so I'm about to get the Whole Cake in a second. Just because the story for Dressrosa was just rich. It's literally about an evil tyrant who uses string powers to manipulate the king into murdering his people so he can come and become the ruler of that land. And then, in order to do damage control, he has his little girl turn niggas into toys and it scrubs all memory of them from other people, which is crazy. Luffy ends up messing him eventually. And now we're in Whole Cake, and I'm gonna be real. My mother's name is Charlotte, so Charlotte Linlin has a very special place in my heart because she reminds me of my mom. So when I was watching Whole Cake Island, I was enjoying it. I was enjoying it for the most part. Sanji's backstory was sad. The fight between Sanji and Luffy was sad. And Luffy didn't want to eat nothing, and Sanji beat the dog crap out of him. But to be fair, Luffy let him, because if Luffy was stripped of all his morality and just sheer bloodlust, then there would be no Sanji. But Luffy cares about his friends, so he's not going to do that. This is why we like Luffy, because not everybody has to be Ikagen out here. But yeah, son. But nah, Luffy dad waited for him, bro. And like Cracker tried to fight. They tried everything in their power to get this man Luffy. And Luffy waited for him. And Sanji came back. and they gave him the food, and then they tricked Big Mom with the wedding cake, and Big Mom crashed out because she didn't get the cake she wanted, and then she kept on crashing out to the point where she was just rapidly losing weight. Then we get to Wano, which is kind of a blur to me, because for me, everybody said they wanted to get up to Wano for Kaido and shit like that, but for me, I cared about Big Mom, so once I got the whole cake, that's why I capped off a little bit. And I dipped and dabbled with Wano and stuff, and then I saw Big Mom get defeated by fucking Kid in Trafalgar Law. That blew mine, because Big Mom was my favorite character. It's my favorite character in all of One Piece. So I'm like, oh, they don't do Big Mom like that. She might be dead. She might not be dead. She fell in the lava. But this is One Piece. Unless you're a nameless character or you're a background character, like you're a flashback character, like you're in somebody's background story, you're somebody's father or some shit like that, you're probably gonna live. So we probably might see Big Mom and Kaido in some way or form. I don't give a fuck if I see Kaido again, but I definitely want to see Big Mom again. And now we are in Egghead Island, which I just went over with Bartholomew Kuma's storyline. And I'm going to cut this video short. This is just a brief overview of my experience with One Piece, Bartholomew Kuma. And I just wanted to talk about that because, like, this shit just made me cry. And while I'm still within the heightenedness of these emotions, I just wanted to make this video so it can be as organic as possible. So if you like anything I have to say, or you like what I do on this channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please be sure to like this video. I see y'all watching the video. I like the video. You need to get back on the algorithm. So yeah, just feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay out of trouble.